Hello. Hi. We are starting the first Wednesday webinars. And so I got my matcha and I'm ready to decode an RFP with you. Good. Okay, my name is Michelle Reese, and I've been in the proposal industry for 14 years, over 14 years. For over 12 years, I was a GS-12 Department of Defense contract specialist. So I was evaluating proposals, and for over 2 years, I've been writing proposals. And so, yeah, I want to start doing this every Wednesday. And so if you have a RFP that you want me to decode, then please leave it in the comments. Okay, we'll get started. I have my notes here. First RFP that we're going to decode is a marketing advertising agency RFP. And I wrote this proposal back in May. So there's 4 parts of an RFP that you want to look at when you're writing the technical portion of your proposal package. There's the statement of work, or the SAL, the evaluation factors or evaluation criteria, the mandatory requirements that are in the RFP that need to be added to your technical proposal for it to be compliant, and then the instructions to offers, and they're always titled something different, but that's the meat of your technical proposal. Those are in the RFP, all the questions that you need to respond to in your technical proposal. So those are the 4 main parts that you need to look for in your RFP and make sure that they're a part of your technical proposal. So first things first, I say that you have to read the entire RFP requirement document. And sometimes there's a lot, and sometimes the RFP is 100 pages. But once you're familiar with RFPs in your industry, it'll go by faster because you'll know what parts you really need to look for and what parts you can skip. With the technical proposal, you're not going to review any of the cost or pricing information, so you can skip that right away. But other than that, you want to read the entire RFP. Sometimes you can skip the sample contract or the sample agreement, and sometimes it's at the end of the RFP. But you want to read through because it depends. The technical writers might have put the statement of work inside of that sample contract. So you can't always say that you can skip the sample contract. So it just depends, and you want to read through your entire RFP to make sure you don't miss anything. So that's where you start. Read through the entire RFP. Second, create a compliance matrix, and you can do that in an Excel document or a Word document, and you just want to create a table and have 4 columns. Well, first of all, the information that will be inside of your compliance matrix are going to be things like the mandatory and the required sections of all of the documents, the formatting specifics, and then there'll also be the submittal instructions, so you'll know when and where to submit your proposal package. So those are the types of information that you'll want to put in this compliance matrix. And then you'll want to title them with 4 different columns. And the first column will be titled requirement, and that's your information that you're going to provide, that you're going to want to be able to look back at while you're writing your technical proposal. So title it requirements, and then the next column you can title it where it appears in the RFP documents. Is it the RFP or is it an attachment, and then what page? And then you'll have a column titled how to respond. So you can put all your notes under that column, how to respond. And then you'll have the last column titled status. So you can enter your notes So when you stop writing for the day and you come back to it tomorrow, you'll know your status where you can start up again without having to spend too much time tracing your steps. Okay, so now we're getting into the 4 parts that you'll need for your technical proposal. That's the statement of here. This is a 63-page RFP, and they're similar in most. We'll start with a cover page, and it'll give you the name, the title of the RFP, the RFP number, and then a contact name will sometimes be on here with the email address. So that's typical with a table of contents. And so you'll want to take a look at your statement of work. Here, let's see, where is it? Right here on page 6, so at the very top of the document. Scope of work, and you'll want to make sure you mirror this language in your technical proposal, and make sure that you can, this is the work that will be done once you are awarded the contract. So you'll want to put as much, you don't want to answer and provide the work plan for every single one of these items, but you'll want to reference them as much as possible throughout your technical proposal. So here, look, it goes all the way up to from 6 to 11. So 5 pages of the SAL that you'll want to mirror the same language that they use in your technical proposal, so it's easier for the evaluators to read it and to evaluate your proposal. So that's the first part. Your second part is go and find the evaluation criteria or the evaluation factors here, and you'll have to do some real reading and paying attention, because sometimes it'll say evaluation factors, but that's really not where the rating and the scoring and the points are located. And that's what happens with this RFP. See, they already title it with evaluation and selection, but this isn't the section that you're really needing for your technical proposal. Your technical proposal, you're looking, and they even give you points here. So this isn't something, you need to read it and you need to understand, but what you're looking for so that you are compliant and you get as many points as possible, you're looking for a table that states the technical narrative points, the scoring for the narrative, and it looks like it's right here. So it gives you each category that you'll need to incorporate into your proposal and the exact weight and percentage and the points. So this helps you to know where you need to spend the majority of your time and where you don't want to spend very much time, because it'll be a waste of your time to spend, tons of hours on facility and resources when it's only 1% of the total 100% score. But you do want to make sure that you spend a lot of detail and time right here in the work plan, which is 80 personnel. You spend a lot of time in 70 points, and then the agency capability, which is the 130 points. Oh, and it's a total, so out of 100%, though, it's a total of 600 points total. So this is what you'll need to, keep in the back of the. So look for the statement of work and add that into your narrative. Look for the evaluation factors, and there's a lot of information. There's scoring on the cost. You won't be interested in that for your technical proposal. It gives you information on the interview stage, and you saw above that there was points for narrative proposal evaluation scoring. But out of all of that information, what you want to keep in mind is where you see the points, the exact points, the total number of points, and the categories for your proposal, so you know exactly how to outline your proposal when you're responding to each of the questions, because it makes it easier for the evaluators, and that's they'll be looking for this exactly. And if they can't find it, it makes it harder for them to score. Okay, so we went over the SAL, we went over the evaluation factors. Then you want to go through, you've already read through your RFP, but now look for, while you're writing the technical proposal, look for all of the required mandatory requirements that need to be input into your technical proposal. So here, let's see, after the evaluation factors, here is the exact requirements that you need to respond to in your technical proposal. They're calling it narrative proposal rating factors. And it says raters will use the following criteria to score your narrative portion of the proposal. So it'll always have a different header, it'll always be titled differently, but you're looking for your questions that you need to answer. And so here it is, and they give you the points. And so what you want to do is copy and paste all of this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections to your technical proposal. You copy and paste all of these in, bold them, and then under each question, provide your response. And this is part of the required mandatory information that you want to incorporate into your proposal. Okay, so that's the third part. And then the fourth part of your technical proposal is any extra outside of the meat of your response, any other mandatory required sections that need to be incorporated. So you go through and you find anything that is mandatory. This has to do with attachments that need to be completed and submitted, but they don't need to be incorporated into the technical proposal itself. But as you go through it, you'll find something like, let's see here. Here's a list of all of the documents that need to be provided with your package, but don't depend completely on this, because there's usually a statement in the RFP that'll say, if there is something outside of this sheet that is required in the RFP but wasn't listed here, it is your responsibility to provide it. And then here at the very end of the RFP, usually you'll find the documents that you need to fill out and submit with your package. But you should go through the entire RFP and find anything that is outside of the instructions to offers that needs to be included in your proposal. Some more required information, letting you know things like all the proposals shall include documents identified in the checklist. Right here it tells you proposals not including the required documents shall be deemed non-responsive. And yeah, so those are the 4 portions you want to make sure you have in your technical proposal. Okay. Some tips that I can give you are, make sure that you're adding bullets or wrap text, graphics tables instead of just one giant paragraph after paragraph in your proposal, so it's easier to read and score. Review the platform where this RFP is posted. Review that platform daily to see if there's any amendments that have been posted. That way you know if there's a response extension date that has been uploaded, or if there's new documents that change the scope of work or change thing in your technical proposal. Also mirror the language. Like I said, mirror the RFP language, specifically the SAL language in your writing, in your narrative, and mirror the order of the RFP so that when the evaluators are reviewing the RFP and they're looking at your technical proposal, the sections follow each other and it makes it easier for them. Also, provide your clear response and then the details. So where, like, for the questions are here on page 21. After you have this included in your proposal and it's bolded, underneath put a clear response to this question and give some details with metrics. We have provided marketing and advertising services to 20 clients in the LA area, managing contracts exceeding $1 million in total value over the past 10 years. So real detailed, any kind of numbers, facts that you can provide, that's important. And yeah, I guess that's it. I hope it makes the RFP review a little more clear. The top things to remember are: read the RFP, create your matrix, and then look for those 4 parts so that you can include them in your technical proposal. The SAL, the evaluation criteria, the mandatory requirements, and the instructions to offers, this part where you're responding to each question. That's it, just 2 things. I'll be doing this every Wednesday, so if you have an RFP that you want me to decode, let me know. And if you don't want to start from scratch and from a blank page, I have a template, and so it has a table of contents and it has the footers with page numbers, and the table of contents you can click and it takes you directly to different sections. And so you can just swap out these headers for your RFP headers. It's 37 pages and you can take out what you don't need or add more. Here's graphics and there's wrapped text. So it just makes it easier for the evaluators to read. I guess that is it. Thank you so much and have a good day.